Hello students, in this class we will learn what do you mean by coordinate of a point. Okay, so before learning coordinate of a point, we have to learn what is the importance of coordinate in our regular life. Okay, so let us study what is the importance of coordinate of a point. So here we consider a rectangular room where this is the entrance wall and this is the entrance and this is the left hand wall, and on the floor of this room there are some identical objects. So those identical object means those objects are equal in all respects. That means their masses, their sensation, that means their you can say their touching sensation, their hardness or softness, as well as their colors, all the things are same. Okay, that is why we cannot identify which one of these object actually we want to take. So that is why we have to need where the coordinate is important. Okay, so suppose all the objects on the floor of the room are identical, and we have to we have to identify a particular object of them. Okay, so here all the objects on the floor of the room are identical, and we have to identify a particular object of them. Say that particular object is 5 meters away from the left hand wall and 4 meters away from the entrance wall. Okay, so among these identical objects we have to identify a particular object. That particular object is 5 meters away from the left hand wall and 4 meters away from the entrance wall. Okay, so this is the line. This is 5 meters away from the left hand wall, and this is the another line which is 4 meters away from the entrance wall. So here we construct two lines. This first line is 5 meters away from the left hand wall, and this line is 4 meters away from the entrance wall. Okay, that means all the points on this line are 5 meters away from this left hand wall, and all the points on this line are 4 meters away from this entrance wall. Okay, so these two lines intersect at this point. Say that point be P. Okay, so this point P represents this object, which is 5 meters away from the left hand wall and 4 meters away from the entrance wall. Okay, so thus with the help of two distinct or these two numbers may be equal, with the help of two numbers we can specify this particular point P where our desired object is present. Okay, so P represents a point which is 5 meters away from the left hand wall and 4 meters away from the entrance wall. At this point, our required object is present, and thus we can identify this particular object present at P. Okay, so P represents a particular point, which point is 5 meters away from the left hand wall and 4 meters away from the entrance wall. Okay, so this point P specify this object, and this is our required or desired object, which object actually we want to identify. Okay, so that is the thing by which we can understand what is the importance of the coordinate. Okay, that means whenever we want to represent a particular point, then always we have to take we have to take two perpendicular straight lines. Here those perpendicular straight lines are represented by these two adjacent walls. They are left hand wall and entrance wall. Okay, and with respect to these two perpendicular straight lines, or walls, we can specify the point of a coordinate perfectly. Okay. Now these two perpendicular straight lines, now these two perpendicular adjacent walls are converted to two perpendicular straight lines. Now these two adjacent walls are converted into two perpendicular straight lines. Here this straight line is parallel with this. That is why this is known as x-axis, and this is perpendicular to this x-axis. This is denoted by y dash. These two perpendicular straight lines intersect this point. This is known as origin, denoted by O. So here these two adjacent perpendicular walls, that means left hand wall and entrance wall, are converted into two perpendicular straight lines. Though where this entrance wall, you can say this entrance wall as x-axis and this left hand wall as y-axis. So these two perpendicular straight lines intersect at a point which is known as origin, denoted by O. So thus we get x dash as x-axis and y dash as y-axis. The intersecting point of these two axes or axes represents or is known as origin. Okay. So now if we place this point in this coordinate system, that means in this x-axis and y-axis, where these two intersects at a certain point known as origin, and here we get four parts. That means first part is x o y, second part is x dash o y, third part is x dash o y dash, and fourth part is x o y dash. So these four parts are known as quadrants. Okay. So we can say x-axis and y-axis are divided by four parts. Each are known as quadrants. Okay. So this x-axis and y-axis are divided by four parts. Each are known as quadrants. So this is known as first quadrant. This is x, o, y. This is second quadrant. This is x dash o y. X dash o y. This is third quadrant. This is x dash o y dash. This is fourth quadrant. This is x o y dash. Okay, so these are the quadrants. Now, if we and the plane where these two axes, that means x axis and y axis are present, is known as xy plane. The plane where x and y axis are present is known as xy plane. Okay, so the plane where x axis and y axis both are present is known as xy plane. Now, if we consider this point P in this first quadrant, then this point P is 5 meter away from y axis and this point P is 5 meter away from y axis and 4 meter away from x axis. Okay. So now we have to know what do you mean by abscissa and ordinate of a point. Distance of a point from y-axis is known as abscissa of that point. Okay. And distance of a point from x-axis is known as ordinate of that point. So, distance of a point from y-axis is known as abscissa and distance of a point from x-axis is known as ordinate. Okay. So, here the distance of this point P is 5 meter from y-axis. So, the abscissa of this point P is 5 meter. The distance of this point P from x-axis is 4 meter. So, ordinate of this point P is 4 meter. Okay. Representation of a point with respect to suitable abscissa and ordinate is known as coordinate of that point. Okay, representation of a point with respect to suitable abscissa and ordinate is known as coordinate of that point. So here abscissa and ordinate of the point P are 5 and 4 units or meter. So here abscissa and ordinate of the point P are 5 and 4 units respectively. So therefore coordinate nets of the point P is 5, 4 within first bracket. Okay, so that means whenever we want to represent a point in a xy plane, then first of all we have to know what is its abscissa and what is its ordinate, and after knowing its abscissa and ordinate we can represent the coordinate of that point by this way. That means within a first bracket, first number will represent abscissa and second number will represent ordinate of that point. Okay. So this is x-axis xo y dash, and this is y-axis yo y dash, and the coordinate of this point P becomes 5, 4. Now we have to remember some sign conventions. Sign convention means in case of coordinate geometry, we always there are some sign conventions. Sign convention means in some quadrants, abscissa and ordinate both may be positive and both may be negative, or one of them may be positive or negative. Okay, let us study how we can understand the sign conventions of abscissa and ordinate. Right hand side of y-axis abscissa is positive. Left hand side of y-axis abscissa is negative. Above x-axis, ordinate is positive. Below x-axis, ordinate is negative. So this is the sign convention. So this is the sign convention. And we learn when we want to represent a point, then first within a first bracket, first of all we have to write its abscissa. Then by giving a comma, we have to write its ordinate. Okay. So right hand side of y-axis, abscissa is positive. Left hand side of y-axis, abscissa is negative. Above x-axis, ordinate is positive. Below x-axis, ordinate is negative. Okay. Thus, we get these sign conventions as in first quadrant plus plus, in second quadrant minus plus, in third quadrant minus minus, and this fourth quadrant plus minus. Okay. And this is the starting point. So, whenever we want to start counting abscissa and ordinate, then all of these cases, origin will be the starting point. Here we consider a problem. Question number 1. Plot the points 2, 3, minus 2, 1, minus 3, comma minus 2, and 4, comma minus 1 on the xy plane. So before plotting these points on the xy plane, we have to draw x and y axis. Okay. On your graph page, there will be some small boxes, and how you can construct x and y axis, let us study. By following one of the line on your graph paper, you have to draw this bold line. With the help of pencil or pen, you can draw one of these line as this bold line, and then a perpendicular line of this line. So this will be treated as x-axis, x, so x dash, and this will be treated as y-axis, y, o, y dash. Okay. Then you will get some divisions. That means there will be some boxes. Each boxes are equal in length. I construct some of those boxes. So this is origin, this is 0, 0, its coordinate. Now, first of all, we have to plot this point 2, 3. 2, abscissa is positive. That means we have to go on right hand side of y axis. This is 1, this is 2. This is 2, and then ordinate is positive. That means we have to go above y axis. Sorry, above x axis. Then this is 1, 2, 3. We will get a point this. This will represent a point whose abscissa is 2 and ordinate is 3. Okay. Then minus 2, 1. In this point minus 2, 1, abscissa is negative. So abscissa negative means we have to go on the left hand side of y axis. This is 1, 2. This is 2 and ordinate is positive. That means we have to go above x axis. 1. This point will represent minus 2, 1. That means this is the coordinate of this point, minus 2, 1. Then minus 3, minus 2. Abscissa is negative. We have to go on the left hand side of y axis. 1, 2, 3. This is minus 3 and ordinate is also negative. That means we have to go below x axis. This is 1, 2, this is. So this will represent minus 3, minus 2. Then 4, minus 1. Ordinate is positive. Abscissa is positive. That means we have to go on the right hand side of y axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then ordinate is negative. That is why we have to go below x axis. This is minus 1. So this is the point whose coordinate is 4, minus 1. Okay, so by this way we can plot these points on the graph paper. So whenever you want to plot some points on the xy plane, then always we have to remember these sign conventions. Okay. In our next class, we will learn how we can find the graph. First of all, what do you mean by graph of a polynomial and what will be its graphical representation? Okay.